The video and the audio. The audio only will be released through the podcast. But what I can also do is I'm kind of building a library of video content. I put some out on my YouTube channel. So whatever you're cool with putting out there, man, I'm all about.
Okay. Yeah, man. Just let me know. I'm fine with video or audio. So
good deal. All right, let's get started, man.
Okay, man.
One more swig. Literally just got back from the gym. I haven't eaten all day. I'm trying to get something in me.
Yeah. I know.
All right. Welcome back, everybody, to a really, really exciting episode of just no bullshit, no excuses. A guy who has just lived every client's excuse and story and kind of shown it to him firsthand. I'm talking with Mr. Drew Manning. You may know him as Mr. Fit2Fat2Fit. Drew, welcome to the podcast, man.
Thanks for having me on, man. It's my pleasure. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, Drew and I were just talking about I was sharing with him the meaning of ever forward. And in discovering that, he kind of has his own moving forward Hawaiian flair, man. We were kind of sharing some tattoos and stories of our forefathers. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, so the word imua is Hawaiian for progressing forward or moving forward. That King Kamehameha he was the king of the Hawaiian Islands. He's the one that united all the different islands. And so I know you can't tell by looking at me, but my dad's actually part Hawaiian, and so my middle name is Kaipo, and which means sweetheart. But Imua, my mom gave that to me. But Imua, I have it tattooed, right here. It's upside down, of course, and then the king, he's right here. That's King Kamehameha right there, and then a lot of the designs, the shapes have to do with like the tip of a spear, which is progressing forward, right? And so that represents me in my life. Always moving forward, right? So I went through a divorce about 3 years ago, and it was really hard for me because I was taught that divorce is kind of like failure, right? And so I had to overcome that and let that go and realize that that's not true for me. And so to me, Imua is the Hawaiian word for progressing forward. So I love the title of your podcast, man.
Yeah, that's one and the same, very much so. That's awesome. So we got some common denominators right away. So. Yeah. Anyone who knows you and your content knows you for, I think, a really specific reason, at least as of late. And that is this whole Fit2Fat2Fit movement. So for someone who maybe doesn't understand what that means, it's pretty self-explanatory, but you've gone through one amazing transformation, intentional transformation. So walk us through this, man. What is Fit2Fat2Fit, and how did you get to be where you are today?
Yeah, man. So this all started back in 2011 when I had this crazy idea. Here I was, a personal trainer, someone that had grown up my entire life in shape. I had 11 brothers and sisters. We all played sports. I played football and wrestling. And so for me, I never once struggled with my weight or food addiction or cravings. And so for me, it was easy for me to be in shape, right? It had been a part of my life since I was little. And then I became a trainer in 2009. And I noticed right away there was an obvious disconnect between my clients and me because, here I was thinking it's easy, right? All you do is just stop eating the junk food. You go to the gym, you work out hard, and boom, you see results. Why is it so hard? And my clients would tell me, Drew, you don't understand because for you, it's been easy. And I couldn't understand because they would always give me these excuses, right? Of like, oh, I cheated on my meal plans or I didn't do the workout, even though you told me to. And I'm like, in my head, I get frustrated. Like, why is it so hard? You just do it. Put down the soda, go to the gym.
Yeah.
And anyways, I was thinking of ideas, and this was kind of like a lightning bolt moment where it popped up in my head, and I felt kind of called, like this is my calling to do this. And so I checked with like my friends and family, and everyone's like, yeah, you should totally do it. And so I created a YouTube channel, a website, started recording stuff, and then for 6 months I stopped exercising. No exercise. I could eat whatever I wanted to for 6 months. Just kind of live the life of my clients. And it was at first it was fun for like a minute, like maybe like a week or two. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I already felt lethargic. I already felt bloated. I felt lack of energy. And then I started snoring about a month or two in, which affected my sleep, which affected my mood, which affected my personality, which affected my hormones. And then, walking upstairs became very difficult to breathe. And bending over, tie my shoe or clip my toenails. I had to hold my breath, which I've never experienced before. And all these things for granted. And I was like, okay, this is going to be a lot harder. And so anyways, the physical part of this journey, I knew I was going to get man boobs and a big gut. Like I knew I was going to gain weight. The surprise for all of this through Fit2Fat2Fit was how it affected me mentally and emotionally, right? here I was, maybe 20, 30 pounds overweight, like freaking out, like in public, because I wanted to go up to strangers and tell them, hey, I'm not really overweight. This is just
this isn't me, I swear.
Yeah, this is my before picture. This is what I normally look like. And I wanted to tell people so bad because I lost my identity, right? When you grow up your entire life in shape, it becomes part of your identity, what your body looks like. And then once I lost that and started getting man boobs and love handles, it freaks me out. And it was really hard on the mental and emotional level. And that's where the greatest lessons were learned, though, was how much of transformation was mental and emotional. Because before I used to see it as physical. Eat less, work out, it's not that hard. You just do it, right? Be disciplined and you do it. Anyways, for me, I was truly humbled during this whole journey of just surprisingly how hard it was. And then losing the weight was a struggle as well. I did get back to fit, to make a long story short, but I learned so many valuable lessons, especially with the power of and how powerful like the emotional connection to food is, right? I used to think it's just a lack of willpower. For me, even for just 6 months of eating this way, I noticed a huge difference when I try to get off of those foods, right? How much my body craved the old foods. And so for me, it was a huge wake up call. But I did get back to fit. What happened in a nutshell was, all these TV shows started calling me, Dr. Oz, Jay Leno, Good Morning America, The View, or like, hey, we want you on the show. Tell us why you're doing this. Like, why? Like, who does this, right? And so I was very fortunate, very blessed to get the kind of national media attention I did, which led to a book deal, which then led to a TV show. And now it's this whole movement, this Fit2Fat2Fit movement of trying to get trainers who used to be like me, kind of more judgmental, kind of self-obsessed, kind of, a know-it-all, to get them to go through this journey so that they can be more empathetic, have more understanding and more respect for their clients is huge. Because what I see it doing in the fitness industry is kind of bridging this gap that exists between skinny, fit people over here and people who are overweight, who have struggled their whole life, who feel judged, who feel misunderstood. And I feel like the Fit2Fat2Fit movement can bridge that gap by bringing in empathy, respect, and understanding, so that we realize that it's not just about eating less and working out. Yes, it is a choice. Trust me, it comes down to choosing healthy choices every day. But there's a lot more that goes into it on the mental and emotional side that we don't really, give credit for. And so that's kind of what I learned through this whole process. Sorry, that was really long.
No, everything was so pertinent and, vital to your story of the mindset of where you were then. It sounds like a total 180 transformation, as a trainer. I mean, I've been there, man. Personal training, group exercise. I'm a coach now. Like, I've been doing this for a long time, and you literally just want to sometimes bang your head against the wall because you're just like, why did you do that? Don't do that. Do this instead. And for us, and when it's your job and when it's just what you do, live, eat, breathe, believe day in, day out, it's the easiest thing in the world, right? And so it's really getting our clients, getting our people, our peers, our friends, our family to just understand that mindset shift. For me, I think first, that's one of the biggest things I approach in all my clients is mindset shift, because without that, you're not going to have any perennial success. But one thing that I think we kind of have in common is this big transformation. Yours was definitely intentional. Mine, I went through a very significant injury during my time in the Army that wound up getting me medically discharged, reconstructive surgery on both my hips. I'm all pins and needles, basically rods and pins, from like the waist down. And, so when people look at me like, Chase, okay, you're in decent shape. This is what you do. You've never known anything different, right? Yeah. And so then I kind of wait to drop that card on certain people. I'm like, actually, no, there was about a 2-year period where I had to learn how to walk again. I couldn't exercise. And so I had to rebuild myself. So that was all accidental for me, man. Walk us through, what was it like to just set this specific intent and then take action to just literally abandon your whole belief system, give up what you knew to be true and what you believed and was your living. And kind of the second part of that question, how did you make a living as a trainer walking around like 70 pounds overweight, man? What did you do in that time period?
Yeah, that's a great question. So honestly, when I decided to do this, I had to have a why, like why I was doing this. If it was just to like get media attention or whatever, that would have come and gone. And it would have been so easy to just kind of, be lazy about it and just kind of, go through it with not really true intent. And so for me, my why was, 1, I want to gain a better understanding. 2, I want to inspire people in a totally different way and something that's never been done before, right? No one's ever done this on purpose, at least. And so for me, the why was really important for me to help push through moments where I'm like, this is way hard. Like, what am I doing to my body? When I was at okay, so I intended to gain 60 pounds at the most, and I gained 75, right? So here I was, overweight, 75 pounds to lose. And I'm like, okay, I got to walk the walk now. Like I'm in the middle of this. I was just on Dr. Oz and all these TV shows. I can't fake this. Like I have to do this. And I'm like, I've never been this weight. So I hope this works out. Like, here we go. And so it was really eye-opening and a really good experience. I have no regrets doing it, right? Like luckily I got back to fit, but more importantly, it changed me as a trainer. It changed me as a man. Just seeing people from a different perspective. And I think anytime in life you go through a humbling experience, you can empathize with people that go through something similar, and you can better understand their struggles and their situations rather than being judgmental about it. You can empathize and really honestly help them so much better. So the way people kind of described it to me, that, maybe we're overweight. They saw me before as like a typical trainer with 6-pack abs and unrelatable to them. They're like, that's cool, but that doesn't relate to me. Like, it doesn't inspire me.
Yeah.
And so once they saw what I went through and how humbled I was, it just made me more relatable to them, right? Because here I was my whole life on top of this mountain, and then my clients were down here, and I'm yelling at them from the top, look, it's so hard, no excuses, just keep going. From the top, it looks easy. Like, just keep coming up the path, don't fall back down, and that's easy. Going down to the bottom of the mountain and looking back up for the first time in my life was a totally different perspective, and the climb up was way harder than I thought it would be. And so I think that for me, that's kind of what was really important for me to kind of see and learn about, like, why I was doing this. Now, as far as like how I made a living, I actually had a full-time job in the medical field on this journey, and I was a part-time personal trainer. But I did give up training clients, right? I did give up training clients because a couple of reasons. One, I knew that it would be tempting for me, right, to go into the gym and not be able to work out, and then have people judge me like, that dude's a trainer. But
yeah, we've all seen those trainers that we're just like, how the hell did they get a job here, right?
Exactly. So my trainers on my TV show, though, they have to go through that because they have to keep their job up. But for me, I had the freedom to kind of, have the salary coming in from my job in the medical field. And then, I didn't train anybody during the whole year of gaining weight and losing weight.
So you kind of knew that you're going to go back to it, though, right? So this was just kind of like, this is a task you set before yourself, and you knew you wanted to get back into this world.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yes. But the thing that was interesting was after all this happened, I didn't have the opportunity to get back into one-on-one training because my career kind of took off. I quit my job in the medical field when the book deal happened, and then I was doing all this media tour and trying to kind of monetize my business online, that I kind of never went back to training one-on-one. Now I do provide content, programs, digital content for people to help impact them, but it's not customized one-on-one like it used to be.
Right.
But this way, I can reach the masses versus I can only reach so many people in a day with how many hours there are, and I'm only one person. So online is kind of I'm able to scale it and impact the masses that way. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, man. You're speaking, kind of preaching to the choir here. I've transitioned. I literally just left my job last week. So Monday, January 1st was my first day full-time with the coaching business. The podcast has also been doing really well. And we've been fortunate enough to bring on some amazing sponsorships in this past year. But now through Everforward Coach, it's just 100% just me, one-on-one, in person, a little bit less. And just this we created an app basically that directly engages clients and coaches and tracks all their data and workouts and things like that. So I'm brand new to the world as well, man.
That's cool, man. Yeah, I remember those days. So good luck to you, man. It's a wild ride. So enjoy it. Seriously.
One of the things that kind of sparks, I guess, one of the most cliche correlations is everyone's like, you're looking at all the fitness Instagram accounts and fitness bros out there. It's just like, I do this in the gym because it teaches me the strength to handle any obstacle outside of the gym. I think it's one of the biggest cliches, but personally speaking, it's also one of the biggest truths. And that, what you do in the gym kind of sharpens your tool set outside. Having that devotion, that accountability, that mindset in one area of your life. I believe how you do one thing is how you do all of the things. So it just really rings true. There's no real question here. It's just, it really rings true in that, that 100% applied on both sides of the coin for you. And it sounds like your empathy skill set just skyrocketed.
Yeah. One thing I've learned, from being in this industry is, yes, everyone wants to get healthy and fit. They want to look a certain way. And that's the physical side, right? We all know we need to eat healthy and exercise to look the way we want to look. But that doesn't equal happiness, right? Unless you're physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually strong, all in all four categories, in my opinion, you'll never be able to really truly find like your true self and live an authentic life. But if you're in awesome shape, but you're a mess emotionally and spiritually, and you're kind of lost, it's cool to look cool. It's cool to have a six pack, but that doesn't mean that your life's going to be awesome, that you'll be happy. You might have a lot of Instagram likes or whatever, but that doesn't equal, happiness. But if you're also emotionally fit and spiritually fit, but you don't take care of your body, you'll learn really quickly it's really hard to be happy without having a physical healthy body, right? Yeah. And so, I think if you can kind of focus on all four of those categories, on improving yourself and moving forward in those four categories and always bettering yourself, then you'll be more complete and you'll be able to live a more authentic life, in my opinion. But if you're too concentrated on one of those areas and not the other areas, then you'll notice something's lacking in your life.
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny you mentioned that. It kind of sounds like you're describing what we would typically think of as balance, right? Kind of the give and the take, the balance of life. But one of the things I was kind of reflecting on as of late was that sometimes life, it doesn't really need to be a balance. Sometimes we're giving too much worth to one area so that we can kind of compromise another, when it's maybe something just needs to be completely eliminated from the equation. So not so much, a balance of all areas, but a adequate prioritization of all areas.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah, no, that's very true.
Yeah. Sometimes I sound smart, bro.
Comes from the gym, right?
Yeah. Right. Drew, one other thing that just so many people I'm sure are going to want to know about, if you're listening to this, my audience is very much in the fitness mindset. We care about taking care of ourselves physically, mentally, spiritually, our relationships, all the above. We're a very kind of all encompassing wellness, I guess, approach. So we got to know, man, it's easy to gain the weight. It's easy to just not work out. It's easy to eat whatever the hell you want and just be on forever bulk mode for months on end, man. But so of course, you're a little bit ahead of the curve. You're a trainer, how to work out and what you need to do to cut down and lose weight. But this isn't just losing a couple pounds, man. This isn't just getting ready for bikini season or a bachelor party but man, you lost like 60, 70 pounds. So what did you have to do to just get your ass back in gear, get your ass back in shape, and just get to the physique level you are again?
Yeah. You know what? Honestly, I'll talk about the specifics of what I did in a second. But first and foremost, I want to tell anybody that's wanting to go through a transformation, like a complete transformation, it really happens on the mental and emotional level. And so what you need to do is to stay accountable to somebody. Like for me, it was the accountability to my audience that kept me going, because I'll be honest with you, dude, I developed cravings for Cinnamon Toast Crunch like you wouldn't believe. Mountain Dew, like soda was one of the hardest things to give up. I'm not going to lie, but it was important for me to go through that because I see why so many people struggle, because they have a strong emotional attachment to certain foods, and it could be from childhood trauma, or it could just be how you deal with stress, right? Some people deal with stress in different ways. And so basically, learning that how powerful that emotional connection to food really is, it was hard for me to overcome that, but I got to see things from a different perspective. And also, realize for me that, okay, no matter who you are, you're going to struggle. But if you can be accountable to an audience, so whether it's your friends or family or a private Facebook group nowadays, which are really popular, and I run a few of those, it helps to keep you accountable in those moments where you want to give in and you're just like, you know what, this is too hard. I'm working so hard, but I'm not seeing any results, right? So staying accountable to someone and having that support system there is key, no matter who you are, to really embrace a true lifestyle change, right? It's not just about, okay, do this diet hardcore for 30 days and you're done. Like I wish that was it, but you got to change your perspective and your mental state and realize that there is no finish line. There is no finish line, all right? You have to keep going and keep moving forward with your physical health. And that means that we think that, if you just do a diet for 30 days, you lose some weight and gain it back and you just do that for the rest of your life. Like that's not how to live. Like you want to maintain this healthy lifestyle, but just like you would, spiritually or emotionally, you want to kind of maintain that. And so that's kind of like, for me, I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you really want a true transformation, it really comes down on the mental and emotional side and being accountable and having a support system, because that's what I did. Now, as far as specifics of what I did, I actually skipped exercise for the first 30 days. I didn't do any exercise because I want to show people the power of nutrition, right? I want to show people like, yeah, you could do P90X 3 times a day, but if your nutrition is not on point, you're not going to see the results that you want to. And so just for 30 days, I just changed my diet. I went from 5,000 calories of, Cinnamon Toast Crunch and processed delicious food to all of a sudden 2,000 calories of real food for the first 30 days. And I lost about 20 pounds. All my blood work went back to normal levels. My testosterone more than doubled in just the 30 days without exercise yet. Wow. And that's what I wanted to show people. The next 5 months, I wanted to show people also that, yes, I'm a trainer, but I don't work out 3, 4, 5 times a day. I have, I'm a dad. I have a full-time job. Like, I'm busy, and I had to make time to exercise. And so I worked out only 5 days a week, about 30 to 40 minutes per day. And that's it, right? It wasn't 7 times a day, eating 1,000 calories to get my body back. It was the sustainable lifestyle change that was just, 5 days of exercise, 30 to 40 minutes, which is definitely doable for everybody. And, 2,000 calories isn't starving yourself. That's the amount of food, right? And that's what I did for the next 5 months to get my body back. And consistency is key, especially with nutrition, because if you, nutrition to me is the most important part of becoming healthy physically, but it's the hardest part for people because we have parties and birthdays and holidays and, life happens and you eat your emotions like, hey, let's go celebrate. This happened. All right, let's go, oh, I'm depressed. Let's drink. Let's eat this food because I'm sad. And so we find ways to not stay consistent, right?
Yeah, I always go back to this phrase that will never let me go. From one of my first duty stations, we had this company commander. Every Friday, he would give us this safety briefing. Basically, you get the whole group together and just take up our time because he knew we're all just going to run away from our workout and just go drink and party and do whatever. So he wanted to keep us away from that as long as possible. And he always told us, he would end the session with, it's all about choosing the hard right over the easy wrong. And what you're talking about is exactly that. It's so easy to allow these things to happen to us. It's so easy to let life happen. In some cases, yeah, things are going to be out of your control, but it's introducing and really developing that mindset strength. Because if you can fortify that to begin with, it doesn't matter if you haven't gotten the best eating plan down, if you haven't gotten the best workout plan down, if you can just be aware and have that mindfulness about your actions or lack of action, that's really, I think, the best stepping stone for everybody, whether it's weight gain, weight loss, lifestyle, like you're just talking about, all the above, man.
Yeah, that's true, man. I agree. And I love that. The easier right, or the harder right over the easier wrong. Yeah. I wish it was the other way around though, right?
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, man. One other thing I want to know is, talk to us about the haters in this, because I'm sure once you made this goal, there are got to be people that just like, there's no way he's going to do this. And then actually when you did do it, like, okay, good luck getting back to being fit again. So what was kind of dealing with the hate, the internet trolls out there, man?
Yeah. You know what? First, let me say this. YouTube was the worst.
Never read the comments. Never read the comments.
Never read the comments. Honestly, at first it was hard for me to get used to because I would read every single comment, right? And I would kind of take it personally. I'm like, and it would ruin my day, right? But there were haters, of course. And honestly, the more hateful comments I got, and the more I realized that it was because people didn't understand why I was doing this, right? There's like, oh, cool marketing gimmick. Like, they just saw a photo of me getting fat. And they're like, how dare him? How dare he try and know what it's like? Like, he'll never know. And I get that. And I actually agree with that. Like, I don't pretend to know what it's like for someone that grew up overweight or that's 100 pounds or 200 pounds overweight.
Yeah.
I was only overweight for 6 months. And I had the knowledge and discipline that a trainer has. And so it's totally different. But I will say that it gave me a better understanding. I think once people saw my vlogs on YouTube and they read my blog post and they saw where I was coming from as far as why I was doing this, I wasn't doing it to rub it in people's faces who were overweight saying, oh, look, it's so easy. Now there's no excuses. Like, there was a lady in the UK who did it a couple years after me. I think it was like 3 years ago. And she's a very mean lady. That's kind of what her brand is known for out there. She's always like making fun of celebrities and calling people fat. She did this on purpose as well. I don't know if she got the idea from me, but she did it on purpose, but she did it with a hateful attitude. Like, see, like this makes me hate fat people more. And I'm like, man, that is ridiculous. And so that wasn't where I was coming from. But people maybe thought that when they first saw like an initial picture. And then once people like saw my blog post and like my videos, they're like, okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. I have to, I judged you thinking you were doing this to be mean.
That's awesome.
Now that I realize it. So, and now, there's a really good book that I love called The Four Agreements. And I take those things to heart because some of the four agreements are, be impeccable with your word, never make assumptions, don't take anything personally, and always do your best. And the one about taking things personally really hit home to me because I used to take things so personally. If someone hated me or didn't like me, it bugged me to the core to where it would ruin my day. And like, why don't they like me, right? And now I'm totally free from that, letting that go. And I don't take things personally. Why? Because anytime someone has a problem with me, it's usually a reflection of themselves manifesting onto me, right? So hurt people. And so I see that with a lot of negative comments is that usually most likely they're in a bad place and they want you to suffer too. And they want to bring you down. And so for me, it's freeing, not taking anything personally, because then, it doesn't bother me anymore. So yeah, that's where I'm at now.
That's a whole other journey, man. That's awesome to hear that you went through the internet process, because that is a scary place, especially once you start putting up on YouTube. I always say that I think the most interesting internet trolls are always in the comment section of YouTube, man. I can certainly relate to that. Just so through publicizing all this experience, that's a whole other kind of unreal world in and of itself. And then, physically going through this for months and months and months, that's one hell of an obstacle in so many ways that I'll probably never know, that the audience might never know, man. But, thanks for sharing your story. Thank you for kind of helping us understand the mindset shift and your real reason why you went through this. And from talking to you, it definitely sounds like the reason was right. The intent was right. And it just so happens that some people out there were able to see value in this and put you up on this amazing platform known as the internet and social media and general media. And hopefully this is bringing a lot of awareness into people's lives around developing empathy, developing your mindset, and just being more relatable to people, whether you're someone going through a body composition transformation or a trainer. Hopefully this just makes us better people, man. So thank you for kind of being so open and sharing your truth with that.
Yeah, no, thank you for allowing me to do that. And just like one thing I want to close on is that, so many times, especially in the fitness industry, we put so much emphasis on the results, right? And okay, I want to lose 20 pounds, right? Or I want to get 10% body fat or put on 20 pounds of muscle, whatever it is. We have so much focus on the result, when in reality, if we just focus on the process more and let the results kind of fall where they may, then that's how you make it a lifestyle change. Because the problem with putting your focus on the result only is that you can't always control that, right? Sometimes you can't always control, lose 20 pounds in 20 days or, whatever it is. You can't always control the result, but you can control the process, right? And so focus on what you can control and let go of what you can't control. And sometimes that doesn't mean that you need to not work out or not work hard in the gym or do your best during the process. Focus on the process, let the results fall where they may, and you'll be so much happier in life, or even on your fitness journey, right? It doesn't have I got to look this way, otherwise I hate myself. It's no, learn to love yourself now, where you're at now, as you're working on a better version of yourself and as you're moving forward in life. Because if you wait until one day I'm going to be rich, I'm going to have a six pack, all this stuff, you go through the rest of your life hating yourself and only loving yourself if you make it there. Then you make it there and you realize, that's not what makes me happy, right? I could have chosen to be happy a long time ago, right? So that's one thing I've learned over the years that, I think is really important for people like me 10 years ago. That's what I needed to learn.
Yeah, one of the things that we talk about all the time on the podcast here and standalone episodes and just any real content ever forward is fall in love with the process.
Yeah.
If you can love the process, I promise you the prize will come. It may be a different prize. It may be a different endpoint than you thought you wanted or why you started out on this journey, but it will be the one that you earned and the one that you deserve. So
yeah, I like that.
Echo for sure, man. Drew, one final question, because you got a premiere to get to watch, man.
Yeah.
It's really apparent in your story, and you continue to drive forward. I mean, you literally, like myself, have it tattooed on your body, man. So what is it about Drew and this whole Fit2Fat2Fit movement that you think is going to help others live a life ever forward?
Yeah, my hope is that people understand the mental and emotional side of transformation and realize that moving forward in life isn't just moving your body forward, right? But moving, like I said, the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual forward at all times, right? And everything happens for our greater good. So good things and bad things are going to happen to you. And all of that is for your greater good, in my opinion, because you need to learn a certain lesson at a certain time. So my hope is that people see Fit2Fat2Fit as, a brand of empathy, respect, and understanding, so that when you're on your journey and you feel alone and you feel like no one really understands you, there are people that can empathize with you, right? Not everyone's out there that's a troll, that's a hater, that's going to put you down. There are people that truly care about you. And I love this quote, and I think it's pertinent to all trainers out there or coaches of some type. No one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. So you could have all the knowledge in the world, knowing how to fix somebody, but if that person doesn't know that you care about them, they're probably not as willing to listen to you, because they don't feel like you actually truly care about them as a human, right? And so my opinion is trying to help coaches realize that. It's like, yeah, it's cool to have the knowledge. Make sure you have that, but that doesn't make you a great coach, right? Yeah. Letting that person know that you care about them. And that's where empathy comes into play. And that's what my hope with the whole Fit2Fat2Fit movement is, just helping those out there that feel helpless and feel like no one understands them. It does come down to a choice ultimately for those people to make changes in their life, but it's so much easier if people are like cheering you on instead of putting you down, right? But at the end of the day, you can't control other people and you can't control what they do to you. You can only control how you respond. So that was a long answer, long answer that took a lot of different tangents, but there's this word vomiting, all these feelings. So,
so true, man. Thanks for sharing that. It's been amazing connecting with you. Congratulations on your success, man. Congratulations on this season 2 about to air, literally as we're signing off here. So, Drew, where can my audience connect with you outside of the TV show? Where are you hanging out most online?
Yeah. Super easy. Just Fit2Fat2Fit. That's the name of my book, my podcast, my website, all my social media handles. The TV show is Fit2Fat2Fit though. It's a different brand. Don't buy A&E. But sounds the same. But yeah, Fit2Fat2Fit, man. You can find all my stuff online. I'm definitely very active on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the most part.
Beautiful, man. Awesome. Drew, it's been great talking to you, man. Thank you so much for your time. That's going to be a wrap for this week's episode here on Ever Forward Radio.